It's in the
even in that
process. It's in the
regards.
process. So there should be competition. You know, the economy, a fair economy, there should be competition. And while you are trying to restrict the importation, you put more on the local production until they balance. I am sure that this economic team, both in the state and the federal, have a robust system which they are trying to unfold into.
But this step that's taken now, when you look at it, what's your personal view as a tax expert and a member of the Commerce of Industry? What's your view on this? Do you think this in any way would really directly perhaps affect the economy of our country, especially for the low-income earners?
Well, I'm saying that it is a step in the right direction. A step in the right direction, and we are expecting more of the steps to be taken. Because you have to take the steps one by one and see the effect and how it is going and how it is being received into the system. So it is a step in the right direction. For example, immediately the price is going to affect the production, the prices of locally produced goods, and the purchasing power of the lower people will now be increased. It will be gradually it's a gradual process. It's an economy that has been badly damaged, up to this point, So, but it has to be repaired systematically for it to come back, and you can be sure that instead of increasing the number of taxes, it is being reduced by this particular action policy, and so multiple taxation is gradually being addressed, and then to create economic environment, creating a very good economic environment that will make businesses to thrive. Next step, we would say, is that government should not be in a hurry to collect these taxes. Instead, they should be in a hurry to do enumeration of taxpayers, because we know that only 30% or less of taxpayers, eligible taxpayers, are in the tax net. They should be in a hurry to computerize the system. Let everybody, every company be in the tax net.
All right. We'll just go on a short commercial now. When we come back, we'll continue from where your thoughts just ended. Stay tuned.
For more talk, news and sports.
we're looking at the 4 executive orders signed into law by the president aimed at curbing arbitrary taxation in the country, and have been speaking with Ambassador Clement Akanibo, Chairman, Financial Services Trade Group, Port Harcourt Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, as well as a member of NECA. For those who do not know, is a Nigeria Employers Consultative Association. And if you look at some of those orders that was signed into law by the president, the Finance Act 2023, the Customs Excise Tariff Variation Amendment Order 2023, which my guest has said is very key with regards to regulating the price of certain commodities that come in through the customs. The 5% excise tax on telecommunication service, many have said, well, this particular one would directly affect the low-income earners, especially those who have, many people, if not almost 80% of Nigerians, do something that requires services of any of the telecommunication companies. So how beneficial that would be? Well, some people say a lot. There is also the excise duties escalation on locally manufactured products. Let's get your thoughts on this. On Facebook, it's Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. We need to hear what you think. Is this going to in any way influence the prices of some commodities, goods or services? Some people are not very hopeful. Let me get to my guest. Some people haven't seen this or welcomed this with any excitement. We know that there was an announcement that the borders were also open for cars to come in, which some people have greeted well, although we might not see the impact now. Hopefully towards the end of the year, the prices for vehicles might begin to come down. Having that and having this with the Customs Excise Tariff Amendment Order 2023 signed into law by the president, when you look at those, you think that might affect the automobile business?
Yes, definitely. But what I want to say is that as soon as a policy is unfold, let us not think that the next minute we are going to see the impact. Let us look at that policy and greet it first, because it's like this one now is a welcome policy, and with time is going to create the impact, the desired impact to reduce the sufferings of Nigerians. Take, for example, all the employees now everywhere, they are saying, look, I can paying transport. It means I will use this salary to pay transport and I will not have anything more. So the impact of the tax impact that is coming to will now gradually reduce. They will be able to have, for example, if they were being taxed a so amount of money to be reduced from their salaries, it will now reduce, and then the transporter who is thinking that the fuel and all those kind of things that he uses to transport people are so high, so he has to charge 3 times what he used to charge, will now begin to come down.
But people say this was done as a form of palliative, and that's why it wasn't made indefinite. But I think some people have even said it's even up to only to September to see how it goes, and we might revert back to the old price. How this would also affect government income is also another question, because we know largely in this country the resources income for revenue from government is from taxation.
You can be sure that before September it will be reviewed and it will be extended, because this government is very sensitive. Because what about the subsidy? We are looking at the subsidy. What are you going to do?
So this is some sort of palliative for the subsidy.
Of course. The subsidy has to be implemented. That the money, the reserve from the subsidy, which is being announced almost on a weekly, daily basis, is so much that we were missing the subsidy. The impact of the subsidy. So now this government is going to actually inject that subsidy into the mainstream, and gradually it will come down. What we in NECA we are talking about is a transparent tax system, a reduction in multiple taxation, and we are expecting tax holidays. In fact, if government can come out and say, okay, first of all, tax is reduced by half, and then the tax holiday between now and December, so that businesses can come up and be where they were before now, and then continue business. It will thrive. Because if you look at this informal sector, these small and medium enterprises, they are the major employers of labor. So if you crumble them, and you will see the effect that people will go.
The man on the street that goes to the market to buy Gary might not understand how this would affect his pocket or the cost of Gary in the market. That's where, for a lot of people, there's a concern. If we are not bound to meet demands, then it's almost as though all of this, for some people on the streets, this would almost be gibberish, because they still go to the market and buy a cup of Gary for a very high price.
Okay. Now, before you go to buy the Gary, you go enter transport. It not be so.
Yes.
Okay. The transport will be reduced because these transporters will now be subsidized to come down.
That's also, don't forget the Nigerian factor of what goes up doesn't come down.
Okay.
So there's also that.
Okay. So I am sure that this also government, the economic team is very sensitive and is made up of credible, intelligent people. They will regulate. I advocate price regulatory authority. We used to have that before. That if you say you are a transporter, you are from here to Eleme, you are charging 5,000, we'll ban you, we'll stop you. So we'll come up with statistics that from here to this is the approved fee or transport. So that regulatory authority.
So what happens to the private sector if the government wants to control the price in that manner? If for instance, we have that, because people are saying, you cannot tell me how, if I get my fuel for the price I get my fuel, because I bought the car cheaper, but then I'm paying this much for fuel. And then the maintenance of the car is a problem because some of the parts are already expensive to get them.
Yeah, everybody maintains car. So we are talking about generally, and then the average price that you should charge.
Okay.
Yes, at any point. So we expect that there should be tax holiday, there should be reduction in multiple taxation, there should be transparency in tax administration. Tax administration means that you should know exactly what you are going to pay so that you can plan towards it. And there should be technology, and it should be easy to pay. So all these things will go to reduce the pressure on the ordinary man. In the tax system, you have the federal, you have the state, you have the local government.
Yeah.
Imagine you as a business owner, in the morning you have the FRS knocking at your door. Immediately they leave. You have internal revenue knocking at your door, and immediately they leave. You have local government knocking at your door. On a daily basis, you will be completely diverted from your focus of doing business. So all these things should be harmonized, taking into consideration that there should be one tax system, that a unified tax system that should take care of, this, and more so, it should be computerized.
Do you think that the rich and very wealthy, those we say are the upper echelon of society, do you think that the government is taxing them enough?
I think they are not being taxed enough, because when you look at the property tax, that is where the money is. That is not being administered well currently. Okay. So if that is taken into consideration as a focus, I am sure that the system will be they will shore up the revenue.
Why do you think the government isn't considering the property tax in that sense? Maybe
it was you cannot, if you are in the driving seat, you cannot drive you cannot say that more taxes, you should pay more taxes. For example, our legislators, they are supposed all their income. Remember that taxation is based on global income. But I'm not very sure that it's a global income that is the allowances and the basic of our legislators are being taxed. I am not sure. That is, but
Why do you think so?
I think so because they are, some of them it is they wait until the election time before they look for tax clearance. That means they have not been paying their taxes. Do you understand? So why don't we start from there and say global income? All the allowances, that they earn a lot of allowances, put together with the basic salary and which they earn, should be taxed appropriately along with others. When you are taxed and you obtain your tax clearance, when you pass through that process, you will be able to administer others.
So, in other words, we're not having a proper taxation, especially on properties and other areas, because those in position of power don't want to pay those taxes. Exactly. So I find a way to evade those taxes.
So our House of Assembly should be politically concerned and focused and make sure that they introduce that law and make sure that implement that adequate tax assessment and payment from the House. Then it will trickle down. It will trickle down. The property tax is legitimate areas, and that is where investments are being posited. Now, if you pay small for a property every year to government, is it bad? No. And that is where the money is. You see all around it, you see all these things. Some properties are built, nobody is staying there, and so on and so forth. So why don't we begin to tax these things so that the economy or the income or the what you have, for example, if you go and build 5 houses and keep there, nobody is living there, you keep it there. How is it beneficial to the economy? You're occupying space. Now, if you begin to pay taxes on those properties, you will want to make them work.
You want them to generate something.
Yes, to generate income. So that's the way to go.
All right. Let's take a few questions from our listener and even open the phone lines to hear a few of the contributions. Whether or not this executive order, as you think, would in any way influence the price of goods or commodities, share with us what you think. You've been hearing from my guest in the studio, Ambassador Clement Akanibo, the Chairman, Financial Services Trade Group for Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture in River State. 0817-923-0007, 0817-923-0009. These are the numbers that you can call to join in on the conversation. Ask your questions. You can also send questions or their thoughts to us using the WhatsApp number 0809-030-6416, 0809-030-6416. That is the WhatsApp number. Again, the numbers to call are 0817-923-0007, 0817-923-0003. This message says, on price regulation, I'm glad your guest used the phrase there should be and not there will be. Price regulation has never worked, and we do not have the structure and political will to make it work. The federal government means of revenue generation through tax has always been targeted at the people, especially low and middle class. They do not want us to go on to reducing the cost of governance, which affects the political class, which is also a very critical thing many have pointed out. I think you've just talked about how the legislators need to look at taxing the various allowances that they get. They should also pay taxes from those. This one says, if possible, because of teachers complain about reckless deductions from their small money called salary, they are being threatened. If possible, okay, we'll see what we'll do about that. We'll look into that. Amobi is on the line. It's calling from Rumokoro. Amobi, good morning.
Hello?
Yes, Amobi, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, go on.
Please, I want to thank the guest, but I want also to inform him that Nigeria now have rice that is better than foreign rice, be stoned. Before I import rice from Thailand, those rice from Thailand are they remove the starch, it's chapped. But because of the banning of rice, I ventured into rice business. The quality we have, the aroma, the everything. Please, him saying that they should open border for people to have choice. A lot of people have invested in rice production, both small and big scale. We should talk about to abolish importation. We should try to be self-independent. The reason why we can buy rice at 6,000 is because we produce rice. After Corona and this global warming and the weather, fraud is entering. Google what is happening in China. Most farm fields outside country is being covered with water because of the weather. And you understand what I'm saying? Why we can see rice at that price, we are complaining because we produce. If we did not produce rice and base in foreign, then we come where we want to go and buy. You didn't see rice to buy. So please, I want to correct him. Talking about having choice of foreign.
Okay.
Nigerian rice are better. None of them have stone.
All right, Amobi, thank you very much. I think we also highlighted that in the conversation that we have some good locally produced rice in the country, as well as we have some that you might say not very good. Same with the foreign rice. We have some that are not good at all. We have some that are good. And my guest also had said, not